computer science. So without any further ado, I will give the stage to Jenny and Craig.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Is everybody seeing a full screen on looking for a job on campus?
Yes.
Okay, yep. Perfect. All right. So thanks so much for that introduction, Rishab. We're really excited to be here. And for those who haven't heard about Research Park, I just wanted to give a brief overview, highlight a few of the events that we have coming up so that you can engage with us a little bit more. And then I'm going to let Craig talk about the specific technologies that they're working on at Motorola Solutions so that you guys can hear firsthand from a particular company. So essentially, Research Park is a technology hub right here on campus. So it helps to cultivate startups and accelerate corporate innovation. There's actually over 120 companies that range from very small startups to large Fortune 500 companies. They hire freshmen to PhD, domestic and international students. They hire from all majors and colleges, and it's really skills and experience-based hiring. So it's a really interesting place to work. There's a lot of opportunities for the College of Engineering students. And one of the cool things, though, is that you would not only be working with engineers, but you get to work alongside students from all across campus. So communications, graphic design, industrial design, statistics, math. It's really interesting to bring all of these different types of students together to solve problems. They find that interdisciplinary teams are solving problems more creatively and faster. These are also all paid internships, and you can earn $15 or more per hour. Easily, the Research Park is easily accessible by bus, bike, and free parking when it is on site. There's a combination of hybrid or some virtual internships as well as on-site internships. So, the spring, it's a little bit of both. And in the summer, it's still kind of wait and see what the landscape looks like. But if you're interested in seeing what's available right now, you can check out researchpark.illinois.edu/careers. That's our job board. So you can see what opportunities are available. So at the Research Park, the key piece is that because the companies are right here, you can do internships part-time during the school year. So you don't have to take a whole year off to have a professional internship. You can work 10 to 20 hours per week while you're taking classes. And then in the summer, you can do a full-time internship. So there are about 30 plus corporate innovation centers that are hiring heavily recruiting for interns. There's, as you can see, there's a wide variety of industries that are represented. We have Procter & Gamble here doing consumer research. They're actually putting IoT and connected devices into people's homes. They're paying them and they have permission, but they're doing a lot of data science, and the interns here are getting to work on the actual products that they're putting into the people's homes, as well as analyzing all the data that they're collecting from it. We have Brunswick, who you may or may not affiliate with bowling. That's kind of how I had initially heard of it, but they're actually a marine lifestyle company. So they're working on boats, and they're working on boat engines, and the interns all get to work on these hands-on things. And we have Craig here today to talk about what they're doing at Motorola Solutions, but really everybody in the park is working on digital transformation and really impactful, exciting, different types of projects. There are also about 60 startups in the Enterprise Works incubator. So if you hear the word Enterprise Works, that is our startup incubator. So any company in that building or affiliated with that building is a startup. So if you're into entrepreneurship and you want to learn more about that or get connected in with some of these startups, they are also looking for really strong engineering talent. So they don't hire nearly as many because of funding and such, but they definitely do need that internship talent. So some of the events that I do want to highlight, if you're interested in learning more about what a Research Park internship might look like over the summer, on Thursday, February 18th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., we are going to be having a panel of Research Park interns talking about what their internship experience was like. What's really interesting about this is that we have interns that have worked on site at the Research Park and continued on. So they also this past summer did virtual internships. So you're going to hear a wide variety of experiences from this event. If you are still looking for a summer internship, please save the date for the Research Park Career Fair. This is going to be Tuesday, March 2nd, 3 to 7 p.m. You can find out more information on our website, but this is a really, really great opportunity to connect with a Research Park company. It is exclusive to Research Park companies. So this is a really good time to be able to talk to any of those companies that you're interested in and learn more about the different opportunities that they have. If you are interested in the intersection of technology and agriculture, we have an Ag Tech Innovation Summit that is going to be Wednesday, March 10th throughout the day. But specifically at the end of that conference, we have a student career mixer. So this is a great opportunity to connect with companies that are using technology to transform the agricultural industry. So that's Wednesday, March 10th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. And something brand new that we have for any freshmen and sophomores that we have in the audience, we are going to offer this semester a program that offers mentorship by and networking with Research Park professionals. So the idea here is to help enhance soft skills, provide some resume reviews, mock interviews, goal setting, work with a current Research Park intern to help mentor and talk you through some of the different opportunities and the different ways that they were able to get that internship. And then also to connect with the wide variety of professionals that are in the park. So, it can be really difficult to reach out and send an email and connect with somebody that you don't know if they're going to respond. But we are going to have a collection of Research Park professionals that are expecting you to connect and really want to offer that advice to freshmen and sophomores, so that it could potentially lead to an internship in the Research Park, but also gaining skills that are going to be useful throughout your entire career. If you have any questions about all of these different types of events, we are going to be offering Research Park office hours every Thursday in February from 12 to 1 p.m. Via Zoom. Please check the Research Park calendar to find the link to this event. So I know I covered a lot here, and there's a lot more events that we'll be doing, but if you want to sign up for our student newsletter, you can do that, and we will send you a weekly update of the different things that will be coming up for the week. We switched to a monthly newsletter after the heavy recruiting season, but since there's so much going on in February and early March, we'll be sending that out weekly. You can also follow us on social media, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us at uirp-jobs@illinois.edu. So that is my part. So I'm going to stop sharing and pass it over to Craig so that he can tell you more about what they're doing at Motorola Solutions.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And for all of you, I just want to tell you, Jenny is a fantastic job in charge of recruiting at Research Park. And if you have any questions, she is the go-to person. So. Can you all see my screen okay? Well, I'm thrilled to be here. My name is Craig Ibbotson. I'm from Motorola Solutions, as Rishab said in the intro. I have some slides here that kind of give you a better feel for what we do. I'm going to go through them really quickly because I want to get really to kind of what we do here at Research Park, and then also make sure that we have some time for questions. But I think it's also important that, we're not the cell phone company. We actually have a significantly different focus than the Motorola that does the cell phone company. We're Motorola Solutions. So I'm going to take just a couple minutes here to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do. So, our big thing is mission critical. We help people be their best in the moments that matter. And as I'm going to show you here, we largely serve any industry that needs mission critical. And so think first responders, think critical infrastructure, things like that. And we have really a few different platforms that we focus on. So mission critical communications, you can think about like the two-way radio type devices. You think about police, fire, EMTs using their radios, think about miners. We have a whole suite of command center software, largely cloud-based. I'll talk a little bit more about. We're really big into video, not just video, but also lots of analytics. In fact, there's analytics is big in all of these. And then we wrap all of these in a whole set of largely software-driven services. So I'll talk about those as well. Just really quickly, I mean, we're a very successful company. We're number one in pretty much every vertical that we serve and every product offering that we have. You know, we have some incredible numbers. We have 13,000 private radio networks in the globe. So think about that. That's, you know, every city, community. I mean, we don't normally disclose, but we have around 80% plus market share of first responder radio networks. You know, when you call 911, over 70% of the time, it's our software that's actually directing the first responders to where they go. You know, we're a global business. We have 100,000 customers around the world. I won't go through all the facts here, but we're a dominant player in mission critical, in terms of mission critical communications, software, analytics, and services. And so the people that we serve, you know, we have basically two different segments. We primarily work with governments and enterprises. And on the government side, you know, police, fire, EMTs are big. We do a lot with national security, critical infrastructure, as I mentioned, and public services. And then about a quarter of our business is in the enterprise space. So think about utilities, mining, oil, and gas. We have a big play in education. I have some examples there that I think are really exciting about some of the things we're doing in education to make schools, universities safer. Manufacturing, hospitality, and retail, and we do a lot in transportation and logistics. So you can see we're very well distributed across a number of different verticals. And as I mentioned before, we're the dominant player in every vertical in which we serve. I hope you don't mind me bragging. We're very proud of that. So big part, as I talked before, one of our main pillars is mission critical communications. You know, you see that radio there on the ground. That's actually a firefighter's radio. And those are built, you know, we build these radios to withstand 400 degrees. They can go through a fire, and they're all ergonomically designed. We have teams of user UX designers. For example, you see the antenna on top of that radio. It's specifically designed so a firefighter with a thermal glove on, like they have there, you know, we have this vision of how firefighters fight fires, and it's not true. They don't walk in and they don't have full visibility, and they're not standing. You know, fires are very dark. They're filled with smoke. They're very loud, and the visibility, there's no visibility. So firefighters typically fight fires on their knees, and they have zero visibility. And if the roof collapses on them, or if they find themselves lost within a burning building, this radio is their lifeline. And they call this, it's the most important thing they carry in there, because it's the one thing that can save them. And that radio is specifically designed so that with that gloved hand, they can reach the tip of that antenna, they can follow it down, and at the base of that antenna is their emergency button, which they push and automatically notifies the incident commander, all the other firefighters on premise, that that they have, and that they're in peril and that they need help immediately. Just an example of, you know, all the design work and everything that goes into us, building a radio with all the components that can withstand, you know, 500 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, plus all the ergonomics to make sure firefighters are safe. So we build these radio networks. They have to be completely reliable. And then we do lots of analytics on top of these radio networks to make sure that they're all operating correctly. I have a team here that's writing machine learning algorithms to learn about vulnerabilities within our first responder radio networks. And besides the radio networks, we do just suites and suites of mostly cloud-based software that we build for all the different verticals. So for example, I'm showing here some of the software that we build for first responders, everything from the 911 call taking, which is very complex. If you think about it, I mean, from the time the 911 operator answers a call, they have 2 minutes and 4 seconds to make sure that the right units are dispatched by law. That's what they're legally obligated to. And our software makes sure that they try to, using natural language processing, identify the problem as quickly as possible from what the person's saying. And then with that, then also to give them, hey, here's the units that we think are the ones that actually can respond to this. And that's for EMT, police, and fire. We build this suite of software, everything from 911 call taking to prison management for police. We also have a suite of applications for firefighters. So for example, they know if they're going to a fire, that there's a fireworks facility next door, or there's hazardous chemicals there. Lots and lots of software that we build for these verticals. And then we're really big into video, as I mentioned, and it's not just capturing the video. I mean, we have, you know, all of you are familiar with body cameras and cameras that are in police cars, but there's also lots of fixed video cameras. So we build, manufacture those. We're number one in all those in terms of sending those out. But then a big part is the analytics around this. And this is computer vision. We have a very large play in computer vision as we work on this. You know, you look at the need for this as an example. When the Las Vegas shooting, if you remember the shooting that was in Las Vegas, there was over 750 hours of footage. And at the time, they only had on staff in the police department, there 3 qualified analysts to actually look through all that video. We provide, you know, significantly advanced all kinds of analytic solutions now that take the time to actually go through this down to seconds. And I have some examples I'll talk about later. You know, number of use cases that we use for analytics as well. You know, we use video now for access control through facial recognition and other biometric means, anomaly detection, self-learning analytics, appearance search, license plate recognition. So lots of different analytics that are used. And I'll go through some. I have a little video at the end that'll show you how we tie all this together. Oops. I'm not able to, oh, there we go. Okay. I'll just skip through here really quick. I think there's a few things. One thing I'll say here about our command center software, you see this little tag here that 10,000 lives could be saved every year by reducing 911 response times by just 1 minute. I'll give you an example of a project that we're working on here quickly. One of the biggest challenges with 911 today is language discrepancy, when the calling person and the call taker speak a different language. The way that's handled today is if they don't have somebody on staff, it's relatively straightforward with Spanish, but if it's any other language today, there's actually a national center that they patch the person into, and they literally just start passing the phone around to find if anybody knows the language. It can add 10, 15, 20 minutes. In addition to it's actually estimated 10,000 lives are lost every year just because of this language discrepancies. That's actually one of I have a team here. I have a PhD student. We're working with the university now on an automatic audio language detection service. It's easy with text, but it's very difficult with audio. And that's an example of one of the things that we're doing here, one of the more advanced research projects that we have, potentially huge impact in terms of lives saved every year. We're big, you know, we are a high-tech software company. That's what we do. We spend $600 million on R&D every year. We have 5,700 patents that we've already awarded. We have 1,400 pending. I have one of my good friends who helped me start the center down here has over 100 patents. We're really into innovation. It's our lifeblood in terms of what we do. I mentioned the suite of software we have. You know, for first responders, this is kind of a more detailed thing, but you can see everything here. You'll see a lot of analytics as we go through here. These are really, we walk them through, you know, things that happen before an incident, so you know about it, to actually managing an incident when it happens. And then, you know, there's a lot of record keeping for first responders. So the whole post-incident resolution. All of this is cloud-based software. All of this is built as microservices. They all run in the cloud at scale in a Kubernetes cluster. We're using all the latest software methodologies to do this. You know, we are an $8 billion company. As I mentioned, we're an international company. We have a pretty significant presence around the world. And so, you know, we're a big player there. A little more brag here in terms of the number of countries and how many customers we have. And I think one of the things I really like about being at Motorola, and it's really hard to convey this in a 10-minute talk, is culture. You know, we are really a company that is trying to make a big difference, not just in the work that we do, but in the way that we do it. So if you look at it, you know, philanthropy is really big for us. We're really big on sustainability and try to make sure that's part of everything that we do. We try to make sure our supply chain abides by all of those as well. And we're really big into volunteering. You know, last year in 2018, you can see here we had over 40,000 hours of volunteerism. I didn't have the stats for the last 2 years, but even here at Research Park, I make sure our students once a semester or twice a semester, we do a service project here. We pay the students to do it, but we do it because we're trying to actually help the community. So that was really fast. And the reason I went really fast was because I didn't want to take all the time just having you listen to me. I want to get any questions that you have, but I want to show a quick video about putting this all together. Hopefully when I shared this, I shared my audio. It looks like I did. You know, one of the things, you know, if you think about it, this is all going to be about our Safer School play, and it combines analytics, the radio technology that we have, a number of different things I went over, and puts it together as part of an integrated solution. It's something that we're really uniquely designed to do. So I'll share this. It's a very short video.
Every single kid who comes through our doors is here to receive an education in a safe environment. 100% of our students deserve that.
Every great school has a great safety plan. And when you think about school safety plans, you always prepare for the unexpected.
Before, it was kind of the facade of, yeah, we think we're safe. We know today with the solutions that we've put in with Motorola, we are safe. With the combination of the radios and the softwares that can be utilized, there's not a much safer high school setting in the United States than what we have here. Technology gives you the ability to cover areas that you just can't get to and make certain that they're secure throughout the school day.
The envelope of safety starts on the perimeter of our building. From the time someone drives into our parking lot, before they even enter our doorways, we can have an assessment of who and what and why that person may be coming to our high school.
If we can see license plates coming in that flag a system, or we can ID somebody with facial recognition, that helps protect our building even more.
I'm always for anything that makes us more efficient, anything that makes us better at what we do. I'm 100% all in.
There's lots of things that Perry Township does that I think sets us apart, and this upgrade adds a different layer to the support that we can provide for teachers and students.
These cameras help us to prevent a tragedy from happening, to prevent Perry Meridian High School from making the news for things that are other than greatness.
We pray the day never comes, but then when it does, we want to think that we're going to be as ready as we can possibly be.
So a huge amount of technology there. That, I mean, I know that was a minute and 43 seconds, but I just want to point out that, if you think about it, license plate recognition. So a lot of schools now are actually, registering cars that are supposed to be there. And if there's a license plate that's detected that's not supposed to be there, it can actually then, with the integration with the radio communication, can immediately alert a resource officer that it's supposed to be there. It actually, using computer vision, you can detect guns in the school. So having cameras around the school allows you to actually detect a gun. You can see a gun coming out. I mean, literally, we got to the point with object detection now where somebody removing a gun from a backpack and putting it back in, and then we can identify that person and make sure that they know exactly where they are in the building. All of these things are designed to make it safer, and it requires an integration of all the technologies that I talked about. So really part of what we're all about here.
Every single kid who comes through our door.
I have one more slide. All right, so that's what we are, that's who we are. Let's talk about what we do here at Research Park. So Research Park, we take programs from all over the corporation. One of the advantages, we are across all the different technology centers in the company. So we're doing a lot of cloud applications and cloud computing. We're doing cloud computing platforms as well. Embedded real-time applications. We do a lot of mobile application development. We're doing lots with data science, including, traditional analytics, natural language processing. As you saw, we do a lot with computer vision, and we do both machine learning and deep learning. Cybersecurity is huge. You can imagine for the sectors that we serve, making sure their solutions are secure is big. So we have a large cybersecurity play. Everything that we do is based on microservices-based software development, and DevOps is huge. Being able to continuously deliver software to our customers in immediately using an automated process is a big part of what we do, and that's what we teach our interns here. So I know that was quick. I appreciate the time. I wanted to make sure that I left at least 5 minutes left for Jenny and I to be able to take questions. Right now, one last thing, I have 43 interns here at our facility here at Research Park, and we are always looking for new people, for additional people here and at our other locations. We view this, and the reason we're here is to develop an engineering pipeline for full time. We do great work here, and we're really proud of the work we do here, but our primary motivation is to find amazing young people like yourselves and have them convert to full-time employees that can make a difference in the things that we do for the world. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Craig and Jenny. So if anyone has any questions, if you'd like to either speak up, you can unmute yourself, or you could just ask it in the chat. Either one is fine. So I'm going to give one last, I guess, option if anyone wants to ask questions. And if not, then we can move on to, anything's in the chat.
So I see a couple of questions there. So
Mhm.
actually, yes. So we've been doing hybrid. So we've been doing hybrids. We even did hybrid last summer. So we are integrated in with the university solution. We're on campus. So Safer Illinois app is part of. I get tested every twice a week. My full-time. I have one other full-time. They do as well, and all of our students do. And right now, I leave it to each student. We have an awesome. I mean, if you look at the offices, many in Research Park, a lot of the companies try to kind of outdo each other in terms of the niceness of the offices here. I think we have an incredible office, and so I do now encourage our students to come in if they're comfortable, and we limit the number of students, and we have very strict rules in that. So we do actually offer in person. I fully plan on our summer internship here in Research Park to be in person. The rest of the locations in the company are still working out, what's going to be for summer. They're hopeful that they're going to be able to have a reduced capacity. And then as far as hiring international students, we do hire international students. We're only again, as I mentioned, for us, the purpose in hiring is a gateway to full-time employment. And because of the immigration laws, the way that they are now, we're hoping they become more relaxed. We're only really able to get H-1B visas right now for master's students. So we hire students as long as they have an intention to go for their master's program. In fact, I hired 4 international students and converted them to full-time last year, and they're all in the H-1B lottery process now. So.
And just one additional piece there with Research Park companies, there is an option that is exclusive to Research Park companies that they can hire through the university. Not all of the companies use this program, but it is optional. And some of the companies, this is actually the only location where they're able to hire international interns. So it's totally fair to ask the company. It kind of depends on the semester, whether or not they're using it. And others are able to hire international interns through the standard CPT and A1, I believe it's called, work
F1,
visas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we did that too, actually, which, because, I believe it's 9 months before you can get CPT. So we actually did hire some students through the university program, and it worked great. It's just, the university dictates your rate then as opposed to us, but otherwise it's a seamless thing. And then eventually, once you're eligible for CPT, we prefer to hire directly, but other companies prefer to hire continually through the university. So.
Cool. So if anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask now. And if not,
I have a really quick question.
Sure, go ahead, Rahul.
I was wondering, do students have interns in the past had an opportunity to work specifically on smart cities? There's actually coursework that overlaps with this, and I'm very interested in this.
Yes, I mean, there's nothing in our portfolio that students aren't working on. I mean, obviously, we can't have everybody work on one thing, but yes, I do have students that are working on parts of the smart city portfolio.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
Thanks everyone for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to see everybody.
Thank you so much, Craig and Jenny. I believe Jenny put something in the chat. If anyone has any more questions or follow-up questions, you can send an email to that email address. Jenny and Craig, feel free to stick around or drop us a call. Yeah, completely up to you. But we will be moving on to the next company representative that we have. All right. So the next company that we have representing today is Texas Instruments, and we have Mark Easley from Texas Instruments, who is a university marketing manager at TI. So essentially, Mark will be speaking about the various technologies that students can kind of learn and get involved with early on in their educational career, and how TI kind of plays a role in that. So the stage is yours, Mark.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Let me share the slides here. All right, so yeah, I'm from the TI University program. Feel free to reach out anytime if we can be of help supporting any of your stuff. We work mostly with your faculty, helping with different lab courses. But if you personally have anything you need for club stuff or capstone design, anything like that, happy to help out. with that. Coming to you from North Carolina today. I've been with TI over 8 years, 4 of those with the university program, 4 of those as an applications engineer. A lot of my background's in embedded systems and IoT type stuff. TI, we've been around for a long time. I know you guys are very well aware of this, but 1930s when we started, so over 90 years old. Of course, Jack Kilby, you know, all the great history there. Lots of great innovations through the years. I do encourage everybody, semiconductor industry is still hiring. We've done pretty surprisingly well in 2020, despite all the challenges. And we're constantly looking for engineers. Just in case you're not aware of the semiconductor field, we do have our semiconductor of choice, which is silicon. We make those silicon wafers. We process those to create the dies, the individual guts of the chips. We package those up and have all kinds of application use cases for those. Some of the big markets are obvious, and then some of them are starting to definitely emerge as a non-obvious choice. Of course, we're heavily involved with personal electronics, anything with power or batteries. Lots of TI analog components, circuit stuff inside of there. Communications equipment, of course, with the rollout of 5G, but even 4G, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Enterprise systems, all the big data centers and servers, processing all that stuff. But a big growth area right now in our area is actually in the automotive space. As you know, with the electrification of vehicles, autonomous driving, all of that requires more and more sensors, circuits. And then also in the industrial space with smart factories and automation and things like that. And that's kind of the big theme of the lightning talk for today. We do have a pretty large manufacturing footprint worldwide, and a lot of that is in the US as well. So we have a couple of silicon fabs in Texas and elsewhere. And that's really been a big advantage for TI to enable really good pricing and reliability for our customers. And then we do a lot of stuff online through our TI website. You guys have probably been familiar with looking at TI data sheets and reference designs and app notes and stuff like that. That's really the way things are done today. Everyone's designing stuff remote all over the world, distributed teams. So making sure that companies like TI are providing that experience on their website is super crucial to our business. So a lot of stuff, like I said, tons of what we call end equipment. So the final products that are getting deployed in the market. Medical equipment, infrastructure type stuff, personal electronics, transportation. Again, lots of TI products inside of those. We're doing a lot of signal chain manipulation. So we're taking real world stuff, we're amplifying, we're filtering, getting them into a digital context so we can perform logic on them, kicking it back out into analog to do motor control, light up an LED, all that kind of good stuff. And that's what a lot of our products enable, is that signal chain type stuff. We are still hiring. There's a few opportunities if you guys wanted to look at some semiconductor type roles. Encourage you to check out careers.ti.com. We have things always need great marketing and sales engineers, and these are technical roles. So you will be applying your ECE studies to this. And then also an overlooked one in the semiconductor industry that a lot of ECE students are qualified for is actually silicon test, validation, and verification roles. And basically I'll go into these a little bit more, but they're excellent and always in high demand. We do have a GPA requirement, but we hire a ton of ECE students. So definitely encourage you to apply either this semester or in the fall. Lots of roles to check out there. Let me skip through this and get to the crux of our talk. Always in need of good analog folks. If you have an interest in analog side of electronics design, like I said, companies like TI always looking for that. And then we also have a big embedded portfolio for digital folks. This is an example of what the sales and marketing kind of folks do. They basically look at the whole TI roadmap, supply chain logistics, branding, promotions, all that kind of good stuff. So if you have, again, interest in that field, we have roles there. And then product engineering, we have a broad portfolio I talked about. You can think of, these are all different application areas. Like I said, the signal chain stuff that we showed earlier, within just one thing like amplifiers, we have multiple product lines inside of those, and there's engineers focused on making sure to maintain those product lines. The verification engineers, these are folks trying to break the parts. They're doing a lot of simulation, stuff like that before manufacturing of the chips. And then validation is kind of like once the chip is out in the world, out in production, how do we make sure to stress test those parts and figure out ways that we can correct any errors that we see in those. So this is a big field. Again, there's a lot of demand for these kind of verification validation rules. So if you ever see those in any semiconductor company, that might be a great way to get some kind of internship or full-time opportunity. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. Electronics and semiconductor is a global business. Lots of opportunities to work with people all over the world. And TI is reflective of that. We got sales offices and design centers all over. Yeah, it's just a global company, really well established and awesome. Okay, so let's get to the topic of today, which is IoT and automation type stuff. Did want to shout out this kit from TI. It's called the RSLK Max Robotic System Learning Kit. It's a little TI based, it's called Launchpad Microcontroller Robot. The reason we have this is because of this mega trend. The two mega trends that are happening in the industry that are relevant to us as electrical computer engineers is automation and IoT. So I'll talk about automation first. You guys are all very well aware of this. This is impacting every facet of our lives. More autonomy, things like autonomous vehicles, smart factories, production, manufacturing, safety, security applications, making sure we're preserving human life and health and things like that. So constantly more and more use of automated systems and robotics. And it's very important for us as engineers to be aware of how these systems can be built, improved, made more efficient, et cetera. So that's part of the impetus of why we came out with this robotics kit, is to introduce those concepts for ECE curriculum and understand how you build up these embedded systems and create the mechanics around it to do application type stuff. So things like solving mazes, AI machine learning, controls, sensor fusion, all that kind of good stuff. Again, this is a nice cross section for all those things. So lots of different things, aeronautics, automation, mechatronics, like any kind of engineering, there's, four bears that we build the concepts upon. The key thing here is the intersection of IoT. So this is another big part of any automated system, is you're probably gonna have data in that system. You're either generating sensor data, you're creating some stuff, you wanna get data from outside of the system, like maybe remote control or whatever it may be. So IoT is kind of an inevitable addition to any automated system. So understanding that, basically you've got your edge devices, whatever your smart things are, your computers, et cetera. You have your physical infrastructure to get the data to the edge. So your Wi-Fi routers, cell phone towers, fiber optic cable, all that good stuff. And then your cloud side, which is your big data centers, your Amazon Web Services, your Google Cloud, your IBM Watson, whatever it may be. And at each of these buckets, there is a bunch of hardware and there's a bunch of software. So it's very, very important, even as electrical computer engineers, if we're not building maybe the connected devices, the smart devices, we might still be participating in the IoT because we're contributing to the infrastructure to help pass data, or contributing to the cloud infrastructure to host the applications and things like that. Let me move through some of this. I apologize, this is a little slide heavy, but hopefully you guys are getting the theme. So in any kind of IoT embedded system, you've got kind of a common block diagram that'll occur a lot. You'll have some kind of processor. Attached to that will be some sensing capability, probably your power story, is it battery powered, what kind of battery, wall powered, et cetera. You might have some motor control. Again, if it's automated application, IOs, you'll have maybe a display, LCDs, things like that. And then you'll have some kind of communication, whether that's wireless communication or wired communication, but very often wireless. Again, in each of these, there's all kinds of design trade-offs that you might be considering, things like what kind of battery do I use? What's the applications of those power supplies? How much, what the form factor, am I building a little credit card size thing, or am I building, something in a big enclosure that we can stick into a automotive vehicle? Motors, again, a bunch of design trade-offs you can look at here based on complexity of control, torque capability, cost, efficiencies. These are some of the main motor types you could be selecting potentially. Display technologies, all kinds, LCDs, OLEDs, again, they all have their different design trade-offs. And then on the wireless aspects, all kinds of different RF capabilities, things you heard of, things you may not have heard of, mesh networking, star topologies, but of course, sticking with the common ones like Wi-Fi, cellular, Bluetooth, these are all very common for most embedded system projects. And then the cloud side of that as well is another huge one. Which ones do you use? many options. Sticking with the big ones like AWS, Google, these are usually safe bets. And then also the compute power. What kind of processor do you put in there? A low power microcontroller versus a microprocessor. Again, design trade-offs around costs, size, power consumption, programmability. These all have to be considered. For the most part, microcontroller is a very popular choice because of their low power capability and also their low cost. So that's why most IoT, most embedded systems will have a microcontroller as the main processor because of those reasons. But there are, of course, times where you do need higher performance, you need more flexibility on the software, and that's where those microprocessors can come in. Okay. And again, power consumption, a huge one, particularly with battery applications. So then with automation, you've got a lot of things that are accelerating this automation trend. So obviously efficiency and safety improvements, cost savings. If you can figure out an automated system that can run 24/7, 365, obviously that may be a lower cost than maybe running a manned factory for 3 shifts or something like that. Another big thing that people don't talk about is actually the technology availability and accessibility. So basically, IoT components, wireless processors, all of these are lower in cost. They're more accessible in the market. So that's helping to accelerate automation as well. And the IoT stuff is really important because it does give us data, it gives us validation on our automation. So if we're making investments and then we can, track all this stuff much more efficiently, get real world results from that data, then that will encourage us to invest more into that automation and stuff. So it's all kind of building up to accelerate these trends even faster. So it is good. We've seen a big growth in software over the last couple of decades, just because that's where a lot of the action has been. But as ECE folks, it's good to have a good understanding of hardware as well as the software for all the reasons that I just described around understanding how these systems work. Okay, and then, again, some more applications around the robotic stuff. I do recommend this class if you guys are interested in mechatronics as a topic or something you want to learn a bit more about. They do have this one on edX, taught by Dr. Rogers at Georgia Tech. This is a really excellent mechatronics course if you have interest in that. Again, you can find that on edX as mechatronics. With IoT prototyping, this has gotten a lot easier as well. We have a lot of reference designs from TI, such as this sensor tag kit, the launch pads. They all have like integrated radios for Bluetooth, for Wi-Fi, things like that. So it's cheaper and easier than ever to start prototyping IoT applications, particularly things like sensor nodes, where you need to deploy a lot of those at once and basically get the scale of those things. So we have a lot of solutions for that. I won't get too in the weeds on this stuff. Again, setting up your networks for basically your application use cases and needs, and always within the constraints of cost and design time and all this kind of stuff. Okay, and then, just the big picture stuff on the IoT. There's certain points in history where electronics becomes extremely important. These big waves of innovation. So of course, the first one being the personal computer, and the next one being the internet, how to connect those computers together to create awesome new applications. And now we're fully into the IoT aspect of it, where we have low power electronics and we can connect that stuff to the internet. And what kind of cool stuff are you guys going to build with that? With all of these innovation waves, they affect every industry. So of course, some of us are going to build the traditional applications, right? But some of us are going to figure out, okay, I can apply my IoT skills now to agriculture and food production or manufacturing or energy production or how we do real estate or new medical devices. So always be on the lookout how you can use these waves to find opportunities for disruption. And basically, it's a very exciting time to be an engineer. Just want to encourage everybody, stick with it. It's worth it at the end. We've got a new and exciting world. I know it's a little bit bleak at times based on the current challenges, but you guys are going to have some really awesome problems to solve and really cool solutions ahead because of all the work we do. When you're doing IoT stuff, make sure, it's full stack. So you've got a bunch of different domain expertise required to do a full IoT application. So you have, your embedded device, you've got your web page, your IT infrastructure, your mobile app. Some of this you can do yourself, but a lot of times you might have to rely on external services and things like that. So it's always trade-offs again, what your dependencies will be based on those things, and just be aware of those. Okay, I think I'm getting to the end here. I don't want to get too much caught up here on any of these particular things. Yeah, so I'll probably just end it here. If you guys need any support, feel free. We have a support forum, E2E, for any TI product questions. You're more than welcome to contact us there. And then also, if you share stuff you guys build either in your capstone design or any personal projects you're doing, there's some really great communities online, and I do recommend students have a portfolio of stuff they've done. So, if you want to bring that up to your parents, show them what you're doing at school, show your friends from different majors, or bring it up in an interview to show an employer, those can all be very valuable things of why you want to have that accessible. So do encourage you. We have the Hackster.io, which is a nice electronics project sharing website, but there's many other ones you can find online to do that stuff. Okay, cool. Any questions?
Well, thank you so much, Mark. I think we have a question from Tejas. So Tejas asks, one second, let me pull up my chat. How is TI advancing their hardware to keep up with the intense computational demands of AI and ML with regard to the IoT and edge devices?
Yeah, so it's a complicated question. So there's different ways, particularly with IoT, how you can enable AI machine learning. So sometimes, intense computational stuff, you actually want to stream that to the cloud, or download models from the cloud, things like that. And that way you can run AI machine learning on lower performance hardware. So that's one way to look at it. TI, our portfolio is not necessarily in the same realm in the AI machine learning aspects as some other companies. Like I said, we're heavy analog and like some of the signal chain type stuff. But there's different ways that you can incorporate AI ML into all kinds of different processing capabilities.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Cool. If not, thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciated it. That was super cool talk about all the stuff that TI is doing, as well as good guiding information for our students in terms of the types of things that they can look into. Looks like we have another question. And Rahul asks, could we have access to the slides to go over in more depth?
They're pretty big. I can make a PDF. I can send a PDF to somebody, I guess, if there's a public place you guys can grab it.
Sure, yeah. I think me or Tejas will reach out to you after that.